And now, around the world and around the corner, it's the David Bowers Awards, bringing the best in indie music to millions of listeners worldwide with your host, the David Bowers. We've got a fantastic lineup of guests, as well as our engineer extraordinaire, Nick the Geek, our entire crew here at the Asylum, and me. I'm Jon Bon Jovi. And now, here's the voice of indie music, the David Bowers.
Well, thank you very much there, Jon Bon Jovi, folks. The legendary Jon Bon Jovi. You're so good to have you with us here. Welcome back. We missed you last week.
Well, last week was a whole lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you've ever done anything like this before, but I went and had a colonoscopy last week.
I didn't tell them.
Well, that's what I did. And, you know, the procedure itself is nothing because they knock you out. But it's the prep that is such a major drag because you and the toilet become very intimate friends for a period of about 12 to 14 hours. But do not let that ever dissuade you from doing it, because I will be the first to encourage you to get a colonoscopy, because it could quite literally save your life.
Especially as you get later in life, over 50.
Later in life, that's right. And, you know, and the thing is, colon cancer is one of these, well, all cancer is insidious, but it's one of these really insidious versions of cancer that you could have it and not even know it and not discover it until it's stage 4, and it'll kill you. So you really should, after you reach the age of 50, talk to your doctor about getting a colonoscopy. I would recommend it highly. I will share some intimate details. They did find 2 benign polyps that they removed, but the thing is, even if a polyp is benign, it will stay there, and it can become precancerous and then cancerous. And so this is something you really want to do to save your life and to save the lifestyle and the love that you have in your life for your wife or for your husband. And I would really recommend very strongly that you do it. And so I'll get off of my soapbox now. But, yeah, that's what I did. I had something stuck up the old wazoo last weekend, and it took me a day or two to recover from it, but I'm here nonetheless.
We're glad to have you back, and I promise you this show is going to be more fun than a colonoscopy. And here's the first step on it. Former Nashville session bassist, who's gone on to become a star in his own right. He's also a previous The David Bowers Award winner, and he's back getting the backup himself now. Instead of playing backup, he's got members of Hank Jr.'s band backing him right now. This is Matt Evan Johnston. It's called North, South, East, West.
Trying to find myself a little direction, trying to find myself a little peace of mind. Seems our whole life's been misdirected, seems our whole life's been in the wrong direction, seems I found myself at the end of the line. Do I go north, south, east or west? I really don't know which way is best. I really don't know which way is mine. Do I go north, south, east or west? I really don't know where to rest since I found the end of the line. Looking at the signs I see directions, but they're so damn confusing, who can give them attention? They all look the same away from here. So I'm just trying to find a little connection that will bring me back home from a little vacation that I spent here all last year. Do I go north, south, east or west? I really don't know which way is best. I really don't know which way is mine. Do I go north, south, east or west? I really just need a place to rest since I found the end of the line. really need a train to ride for some rest. I really just need some R&R. When life gets so damn confusing, I need a break to keep me from losing my precious mind. Do I go north, south, east or west? I really don't know which way is best. I really don't know which way is mine. Do I go north, south, east or west? I really just need a place to rest since I found the end of the line.
North, south, east, west. That's Matt Evan Johnson. He's got a new album coming out, and you can check the tracks with him. Check out his website and Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. Check him out if you like the music. I mean, you're talking about some down-home, plain old-fashioned country there, like they used to play. Right, John?
Oh, yeah, I like that. That was very nice. Had a nice country feel to it. The electric guitar solo work on it, I thought was very good. I don't know if I would say it was Clapton-esque, but it was whoever was playing was very good. And I think that the only gripe that I have with it, it's a nice song. It really is. But I thought that there was a little bit of distortion in there as far as the production values that probably shouldn't be there. I think if they can get into the studio and clean it up, then they could really have something on their hands there.
Well, you've got the ear for that one. I have a radio programmer's ear, but that's a whole nother story. When I was talking to Matt this morning, he told me that he was really proud and happy to have Hank's band backing him up, or members of Hank Jr.'s band, I should say. And we're looking forward to hearing
it really is. I mean, it flows. It's really nice.
It's a throwback to the days of real classic country music, and that's what he's doing. As a matter of fact, he also told me that. He says it's not going to appeal to everyone. It's not going to win over a whole lot of new fans that haven't listened to that kind of music. He says, but this album is for my people. He says, and I'm doing what they like to hear. And I salute him for that. I mean, keeping it pure and doing what his fans want.
I do like that style of music. Yeah, I do like that style of country music. It's terrific, and of course the musicianship, if you will, is very good, especially in light of the fact that we know that that Hank too, his band is in there, helping back up Matt.
Absolutely.
But I think that there's something, and this is certainly nothing at all against the studio musicians or anything like that. It goes more towards the technical aspect of things, but I think that it needs to be cleaned a little bit, and if they can do that, then they're going to have themselves one hell of a nice song on their hands.
Yeah, I've got a couple of more tracks he sent me, and I'll ship them off to you so you can enjoy them too. Matt Evan Johnson, thank you so much, Matt, for sharing your new music with us, and thank you, listeners around the world, for joining us for another The David Bowers Awards, and our listeners also in Rochester, New York, who listen by way of WRFZ 106.3 Rochester Free Radio. I would say 106.3 FM. I should get that in there. And we want to thank all our listeners in Rochester, too. Also, Mary Perry, who's an accredited disability representative up Rochester Way, who underwrites the David Bowers Awards on Rochester Free Radio and enables the listeners in Rochester to hear us every Saturday at noon, indoors, outdoors, and around the town over at the House of Guitars. And we've got, as a matter of fact, speaking of the House of Guitars, I do want to make an announcement. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to go into a lot of detail, but if you're in the area and want to know more, check with Rochester Free Radio online at rochesterfreeradio.com and get all the information. But They are having a wild and crazy event coming up there later in June. They are going to have, and I'm trying to frantically find my notes here because I know I made some. They are having a record store crawl, okay? Basically, it's going to be a full-length crawl around town. They're going to have refreshments. They're going to have beverages served. You've got to be 21 to participate, but be sure and check it out if you're in the area. Saturday, June 23rd, they're going to be going all over town to the record stores, and one of the ones participating, of course, is our friends at the House of Guitars, also Needle Drop Records, and the Record Archive are in on it. They're going to have a school bus escorting them around town with a special performance live from River Lynch and the Spirit Makers. And you can get a seat on the bus and crawl with them that way, or you can walk around town and, Deep Eddy. They're going to have Deep Eddy vodka at select stops, open bar at the Record Archives, and all kinds of fun things going on. Check it out. If you're in Rochester, going to be a lot of fun. June 23rd. Don't miss it. Okay, and we also saluted Mary Perry. I want to take the moment right now while we are in a transitional period. Our first The David Bowers Award of the week, and let me see. I think we're gonna go ahead and play the fanfare for this one. So here comes the first The David Bowers Award. Thank you very much there, you magnificent Combs. I want to take this moment to salute a very special person in my life, professionally as well as personally. And this goes way, way back to a galaxy long ago and far away. He's celebrating his birthday this weekend, and he's now retired and living in Indian Trail, North Carolina, which is a name I would just love. I'd love to see that town with a name like that. It's got to be a neat place. He's from Little Falls, New York, up in the central area of New York State. And his name is Dave Derby, like the English horse race. And I'm saluting him this week because it is his birthday, and it gives me a good reason to take a moment out and salute the man that actually started my radio career way, way back when I was in high school. We talked. I wanted to get into radio, and of course, he gave me the old "What kind of experience do you have?" Blah 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 blah. And being a teenager and knowing everything there was to know, I just blew it. And I said, "Wait a minute. How the heck is anybody supposed to get experience if you want somebody with 30 years experience that's 20 years old? It just doesn't happen." And he laughed and told me, he says, "Come over and see me tomorrow morning at the station." That was on a Friday night. I was doing a local dance, and next day was Saturday. He said to come over and see him at the station. So I did. Long story short, he gave me a part-time job working on weekends. As a matter of fact, I tracked albums real early, and then on Sunday, I got to engineer. I don't know, for those of you who remember the old-time local radio, on Sunday mornings you had all of these personal shows. We had a Polish hour, we had an Italian hour, and I got to engineer all that stuff. Got to meet some really wonderful people, got a lot of experience at working with other people and working in radio, and it laid the groundwork for my career. My next move after that was my first full-time job in Utica, but this was at WRNY in Rome, New York. And I salute you, Dave Derby. You made a career for me, and I thank you for taking the chance with me and giving me something to do to keep me off the streets. We didn't make a lot of money, as a matter of fact. I don't know if Dave knows that I'm aware of this, but I wasn't on the payroll there for the first few months. He was paying me out of his pocket, and I really appreciate the fact that he gave me the start in a career that I loved and love to this day.